Well, greetings. This is Dr. Dan Elliott, the Center for E-Learning and Teaching. Today we're going to talk about how to build a gradebook. So I'd like to show you a gradebook in progress that I'm in the process of building. Gradebook is the program that it's a tool that we activate when we set up our course. So here we have Gradebook, and the process for creating a gradebook involves your decisions about the major assignments in your course and the minor assignments and how much each of them are worth. So here's a course gradebook that I began some time ago. And the syllabus in the course calls for a term paper. And so I created this item, the term paper. It's in the category. I give it a category of major papers. There's only two categories right now, major papers and discussions. It happens to be worth 24% of the grade, and I gave it a due date. Also, I'm checking include in the gradebook, and I'm checking release scores to students, and then I'm saving it. I've created 3 discussion items. So here we're having a discussion in this course about the Apostle Paul, and it will relate to one of the forums that will be created in the forum tool. But you'll have another video to watch about creating forums. Just know that when you create a forum, you can link it to the gradebook. And so we have this first discussion I created about the Apostle Paul. It's worth 2 points. The due date for this will be set later, so I'm checking include in the gradebook. I'm checking release scores to students, and I'm checking save. Then the third form, forgot to change it to 2% of the grade, checking include in the gradebook and release to students and save. All right, so now something to be aware: if these names truncate on you, you can expand that part of the table and you can expand that whole window. So we want to create a new item. So we click on File, and we just if the new item is not in one of the 2 categories that we have, we'd first create a new category. So we'll create a category called Tests or Examinations if you use Tests and Quizzes. And so we'll add that category, and then in that category we'll create a new item, and it will be Quiz 1. To be held as a part of Unit 1's quizzes. So the examinations will be the category. This is going to be worth 4 points, 4% of the grade. It's a single weighted quiz, so I'm going to give it 4 points. I'm going to include it in the grade, and it's not extra credit, so I'm going to release course to students, and I will add it, and under examination there's quiz 1. So maybe you're one of those professors who likes to give a midterm, and you want to give a midterm online, so we create new item, and we create midterm. We're going to make this one worth, it goes into examinations category. We're going to make this one worth twice what a paper would be worth. So if a paper would be worth 4 points, we'll make this one worth 8 points. And release scores to students and add. And so we're building the gradebook, and you can see that right now we have a total of 40 points in the course. We would continue to build that out on my scheme until we had 100 points. If you are a person who gives multiple hundreds of points in a course, then your setting for the gradebook needs to be a little bit different than mine. And so you would use calculated grades. In that case, then in your grades you would give points, and those would be weighted or calculated. Your categories might be uh, weighted categories. So right now we just have 3 categories, but in our settings, if we have calculated grade, and we might also want to drop lowest scores, you have that option in this gradebook as well. Well, if you go to the help screen in APUSakai, if you go to the help screen in APUSakai, the help screens are found here at the end of your list of course items. And the help screen allows you to look for things. You could look for Gradebook, as I did here, in search. And then I found creating a gradebook, and so there are the items for how to create a gradebook. I'd encourage you to read all of this instead of just listening to me read it to you. And I have created for you links in the class to begin with. So you'll see this is the same material as was found in the help screen. If you click on those, you can read about the rest of the details on to be aware of how to set up your gradebook, adding categories to your gradebook, adding items to your gradebook. So I would encourage you to read these things, but it turns out to be really simple once you master the terminology and understand what it is you're looking at when you're in your gradebook. So for example, here's a class that's completed, and let's look at the completed gradebook for this class. So you can see that I have a series of discussions, every one worth 2%. I have a series of response papers, each worth 4%. I have 2 major assignments, a project and a debate presentation. So worth those values, adding up to 100 points. When you create assignments in your class, here are the assignments I've created in this class, for example. Let's take a look at this first assignment. One of the things you do when you create the assignment is you decide to add it to the gradebook. Since you've already created an item in the gradebook for this assignment, then you simply select this button, Associate with Existing Gradebook Entry, and you go to this pull-down menu and select all of the items already built in the gradebook, and that tells the system how to associate that assignment with that activity in the gradebook. The same process works when you create forums, but you'll have another presentation on both creating assignments and creating forums. Well, that's building a gradebook.